Datila and welcome to the TNA Post Show. As always, I'm joined alongside Burt Macklin.
How's it going?
It's definitely going good. We have so much to talk about. What a newsworthy week for TNA.
Yeah, and I think I can say, you always get mad at me for using this word. I think tonight's episode was very fetch.
Still trying to make fetch happen, I see. All right, let's start off talking about NXT. As we all know, at NXT No Mercy, Joe Hendry made history by becoming the first ever TNA wrestler to main event and the PLE. He main evented against Ethan Page, and he may have lost, but he looked damn good out there. He definitely showed why he is main event material.
Yeah, I think at this, and everything you said is completely right. I completely agree with you. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that that's the stage he's going to end up. Because and even if it wasn't the case before, I think once, the management there and whoever has just seen how over he is in the bigger places they go and how over he continues to be. Yeah, it was pretty surreal seeing that.
Definitely. It sucks that he lost. I kind of knew that he was, but I'm still so happy he got that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Joseph Baza says that was the point. They are finding talent they may want down the line. 5 years ago, Joe Hendry wouldn't be entertaining us in WWE. That's true. Hey, Joe. All right, but that's not the only thing that happened. Oh, Ios's great week for TNA. Yes, indeed. Great week. That's not the only thing we had to happen. On NXT No Mercy, we had an X Division showcase match. Zachary Wentz versus Wesley, or as we know him, Dez. Now, I have to say it was really great that not only Zachary Wentz got to rock the X Division title, they acknowledged him as X Division champion, and he got to rock that belt on WWE television. That was fantastic. And the fact that Zachary Wentz picked up the victory, I thought that was really great. This is an incredible match. Like I said, it's an X Division showcase match on WWE TV.
Yeah, shit. I didn't think he was going to win going into the match just because, it is NXT after all, and he is in TNA. But, why not? Especially him winning the championship the night before. Why not keep the momentum rolling? Definitely. And I thought that was the match of the night, in my opinion.
Definitely, but that's not all that happened. So apparently the Rascals called their shot to become number one contenders for the NXT tag titles by defending Gallus and Hank and Tank on the fallout from No Mercy. So I cannot wait to see Axiom and Fraser versus the Rascals. That's going to be a great match. But don't get me wrong, I also want to see ABC versus Axiom and Fraser too.
Hell, I wouldn't mind seeing Gallus versus ABC, just because I'm a big fan of Gallus, and I just think they fit TNA as well, vice versa, as well as NXT. But I'm just saying, this was what a week for the Rascals, Wentz in particular. But yeah, they're going to challenge Axiom and Fraser, which again, I would hope that would main event, and I think that will be the match of the night. That's the match. That could be the match of the night on any card it's on.
Oh,
so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. TNA getting a lot of exposure.
Huh?
TNA getting a lot of exposure, and I'm liking it.
Me too. I really hope. I'll read your comment right now, Joseph. I really hope this has once and for all silenced that who watches TNA. LL TNA. TNA is dead. Because clearly they're not.
I think really the only thing that is holding TNA back is just purely they needed to be on a better channel. Just because I think that most people, obviously in these days, a lot of people probably don't have cable, but the channel that they're wrestling, the, AEW, and WWE, you could just get with the basic, streaming package that has live cable. So, and NXT Access might not be on there. So it's like if they were on, a TNT or a CW or something, I think they'd have more eyes because they have the roster.
They definitely do. Joseph saying it was a nice surprise that he won because it was non-title, assuming West would win too. It was great NXT Tag Team Championship match Tuesday. Got his Fade Russell win to keep the relationship into the next chapter. 5 million YouTube subscribers, say folks are LOL. Yeah, TNA is on a channel you have to pay off. That is what Jordynne did. I agree. You know, I don't get it, which is why I had for the longest time get the TNA subscription. Yeah, because I didn't get it. They need some of their data connections to get those deals. Yep. All right. So let's talk about Explosion. Real quick, I'm not going to go on a tangent like I normally do because you guys all know how I feel about Explosion. I will say the fact that they keep too much format and the around the ring sense. You know, we had some great knockout action, knockout tag team action. Spitfire versus Renee Michelle and Caitlin Alexis. I thought this was a great match.
My biggest takeaway from that match is TNA should go definitely sign Renee Michelle and Caitlin Alexis after this. Just because more additions to the Knockouts roster are always, you know, always good. So.
Okay, says you need some of the days connections to get those deals. Yeah, I agree. No, yeah, definitely. I like the fact that they showcase a lot of knockouts. They need to start signing some knockouts with the impending departure of Jordynne Grace and Giselle Shaw, but we'll get into that in a bit. Around the ring, we looked Mike Santana as a girl dad. And then we had Frankie Kazarian versus Bhupinder Guher. Another great showing by Bhupinder Guher. I really feel that they need to use Bhupinder more. He's definitely a great talent. I want to see more of him, not just on Explosion.
Yeah, they were kind of alluding to the fact that he has been quite successful on Explosion. So, yeah, it would be nice to see him more on the main show. But, yeah, Kazarian getting the win. Again, there, without him being right there, they keep mentioning, you know, he's a king, you know, self-proclaimed king of TNA. And obviously we know he wants that world title. So, big win, another win for him.
Yep. Another victory in the box for Frankie Kazarian. All right, before we get into tonight's show, we have some news we got to discuss. According to Mike Johnson from PWI Insider, TNA has signed Heather Reckless to a contract. She worked back in June for the promotion and was bought back at the Louisville tapings over the weekend with a push. So just based on tonight's segment, it seems like she might be being put into a tag team with Ash by Elegance because it seemed like Ash was trying to take her under her wing. So I wouldn't mind that personally because we do need more tag teams in the Knockouts tag team division. Also, too, that's not the only news that broke as well. According to Fightful Select, Giselle Shaw granted her TNA release. She has effectively finished up with TNA. We've learned that Shaw recently requested her release from the company, and it was granted on the condition that she worked the Louisville tapings and put someone over on her way out. Shaw is booked for Scott D'Amore's Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling later this year. We're told that those in TNA expect her to be a regular there. So it seems we got confirmation next week she's going to be facing Heather Reckless, so she's probably going to put Heather Reckless on her way out. I have to say it's such a shame that we're losing Giselle Shaw. She's a fantastic talent. She'll make a great addition to anywhere she goes. It's just disappointing that she didn't get a chance to become Knockouts champion or even Knockouts tag team champion when she was doing the Shaw Taraj. I definitely do think that they dropped the ball there, but it sucks to see her go. But wherever she goes, she's gonna excel.
You know, and again, well said. Well said. I agree with everything you said. And when this and I didn't know that she agreed to the tapings and to put someone over. That's very cool. When this broke at the beginning of the week, it was or whatever. I was very sad just because, like you said, I thought they were positioning Giselle for big things. And I was a little at the same time. I was like, "Come on, what's happening?" You know what I mean? Because Jordan might be leaving. Like what? But then this show just the amount of things that happen, not only for the company but for the women's division in particular. Just I'll never like doubt TNA again, because as you mentioned, Giselle's leaving. They appeared to they signed Heather Reckless. We got what seemed to be a Xia Li tease in a promo later, which I was like, holy shit. And then, from the NXT side, it's not. It happens to be one of their big women stars over there. Jordynne Grace comes out, and she is the liaison for NXT. So it's like all the possibilities. I'm thinking, like, I think like TNA loses one person and they look like they're signing two. So it's like, why Giselle's a big loss. Again, TNA knows what they're doing. Like, look at these moves they're making.
Joe says she previously faced Giselle on BTI episodes months ago. Heather, okay. Xia was one of the good ones that was let go because she wasn't hardly used by Vince in the last intro, but she started to get work. That is a big gap for TNA talking about Xia Li. That is true. That vignette, when I saw it, I was like, that's Xia Li. She's gonna make a fantastic addition to the Knockouts division, and then and TNA will make her to a star. That's one thing TNA does best. They know how to showcase people. And, I look at what they did to Steve Macklin, Deonna Purrazzo. Told y'all folks, Gail Kim's got things handled. Yeah, I guess we were just being a little impatient,
Again, obviously, because like when we hear the news of Giselle or the permanent, the foreseeable news for Jordynne, obviously that might be new to us, but behind the scenes they are probably aware of this stuff, so they're getting ready. It might not look like that on TV in the immediate, but they've got things handled. They've been around this long for a reason.
That's true. But you know what's funny? Now, since you mentioned Ariana Grace, she's Santino's daughter. I saw one interaction between her and Santino. But is she really the liaison, or is she just saying she's a liaison?
I think she would be. I'm gonna go ahead and believe that.
Yes, we'll talk more.
I hope so, just because to get more women from NXT on the show as well.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk more about Jordynne Grace's match when we get there. But first, let's kick things off talking about TNA Tonight Open with the System, JDC, and Masha Slamovich. Now, it's interesting. JDC is still not part of the System, but we learned that Moose is giving him the opportunity to join the System if they're victorious in tonight's main event. Also, too, I just want to say, I'm really happy to see Lish is okay. She took a really nasty fall during Emergence. So I think we were all worried about her. So glad to see that she's doing really well.
She also cut a fantastic heel promo tonight. Just talking. I always remember, and this was a very real injury, but I just always remember wrestlers growing up either selling the arm or the neck. And I just loved her pointing the neck, talking about her doctors. It was just very good heel shit. And then just mentioning how she doesn't have to defend the title every week, once out of 30 days. It was just very good. And was this the first time Masha was out there with the System?
I think so.
Yeah, this was good. This was awesome.
Let me see. I believe Ariana, she's saying it. She ain't no liaison. I wouldn't be surprised if she challenges Jordynne on Tuesday. Jordynne is doing it again on Tuesday, an open challenge. Carmen Petrick versus Grace was fun. Yeah, I think you'll see more of Ariana on screen. Amaze Alicia recovered to work the next night. No person would take the night off. That's true. Major props to Lish.
I say she will be the liaison because, like you mentioned, who just happens to be the general manager of TNA? Her dad. So the backstage segments, which we haven't seen yet, which I hope we get, should be very entertaining.
Oh, definitely. They
Like
should
if
be.
we can get some segments of them making matches together, that'd be phenomenal. Because Ariana Grace is a great on-screen character.
I give Lish credit for still willing to show up to work Saturday after Emergence. Her injury was so bad, I thought she would have stayed home instead of the promos. Yeah. But what if she becomes Daison? Because Aunt Santina wants it. Wink, wink. Huh? That's funny. We also learned that Spitfire is getting one more chance at the Knockouts Tag titles. If they lose, they will break up as a team. So we'll see how that plays out at Victory Road. After this, we get an Eric Young interview, and he basically makes it known that he respects Macklin and he's got his back, which factors in later in the night. So we get Kushida versus Laredo Kid, which was a good match, but unfortunately, we don't get to finish this match because Josh Alexander interrupts, attacks Laredo Kid and Kushida, which leads into Kushida versus Josh Alexander. I have to say, it makes perfect sense. Now that I think about it, it makes perfect sense that Josh Alexander attacked Kushida, because correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it Kushida's hoverboard log that allegedly caused Josh's torn tricep injury, forcing him to relinquish the TNA World title?
I did not remember that little detail, and hopefully somebody in the chat can help us with that. I do not remember that, but if that's the case, wow on TNA for like planting the seeds everywhere and making everything make sense.
Yeah, but this was a great match. Obviously, Josh Alexander won with the C4 spike,
and well, yeah, because it was the impromptu match, which I'm glad that happened, and yeah. And then we go to the back where Kushida has to be helped up, and we finally get the interaction between Joe Henry and Josh Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
We've been waiting for this. Like, it's not like it's been long. They just, you know what I mean? They haven't even had a match. He just cost them the match. He eliminated him, but this was so good.
Yeah, Joe Henry tells him he'll never forget what Josh did to him at Slammiversary.
Josh was all over the show. God, he's amazing.
That is a good memory. That's in my mind. I thought Josh would have shown up and Devin to go off the train. I thought so too, but like Burt mentioned last week, if Joe Henry would have cost Josh the title, I think more than likely he would have shown up himself. They were originally supposed to face at Multiverse United originally. Oh, yeah. Okay. So
well, just to Joe's point, like, because he said that he thought he would show up at NXT. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
While, like, the Rascals feud is going to make sense crossing both shows, I don't think it would make sense for Joe Henry, for Josh to do anything to Joe on NXT. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So we get Jordynne Grace Open Challenge and ends up being Carmen Petrovic. I kind of thought it was going to be Ariana Grace and we were going to get a battle of the Graces. That didn't happen. This was a good match. Great showing by Carmen Petrovic. The ending was very telling because Rosemary was watching this, and then at the end, the lights go out and Jordynne gets knocked out, and there's a pillow lady next to her, as you alluded to earlier. Wendy Chu. Are we going to see an interpromotional tag team, Wendy Chu and Rosemary here?
I hope. Well, I hope so. I really do. Like I said, let's get more of this while TNA's working with NXT. Yeah, absolutely.
Io says Josh showing that he doesn't need the title to show that he still runs TNA. That is true. Yeah, I hope we do get a tag team out of Rosemary and Wendy Chu. You know, even if it's not permanent and it's just a temporary tag, I wouldn't mind it. So we get an ABC promo, and they're just talking about the system and about Slammiversary. Now, I thought it was really interesting that First Class interrupts. And Ace also brings up the fact that AJ Francis doesn't know the fundamentals of tag team wrestling. Bringing up the fact that he tried to get the pin when he wasn't even the legal man.
That's very funny. Keep on.
He said Ace Austin tells him that they need a refresher in tag team.
I believe earlier in the week they Casey Navarro is officially part of First Class, right?
Yeah.
Good move. He definitely fits. And so
Does.
hopefully that means that he's on his way to be signed to TNA.
Hopefully. So after this, that's when we get the Zaya leaving it, but Burt and I already talked about this, so we're just going to go ahead and skip over to the Zachary Wentz promo. Great promo by Zachary Wentz. Mike Bailey interrupts and lets him know he's going to enact his rematch at Victory Road. That's going to be a great match, potentially match of the night. And now the Good Hands interrupt and says, John Skyler says the real star of the Ultimate X was Jason Hodge. I have to say, I do agree with John Skyler in this point. Jason Hodge with the star-making performance. And like I mentioned, Jason Hodge is so underrated, but he definitely has potential to be champion. And I like the fact that John Skyler said our X Division title. So clearly if Jason Hodge would have won, they would have been co-X Division champions here. But I do agree, like, he was a star. He had a really great performance, and I definitely would like to see him win some gold in the future. But this leads into an odd team of Speedball Mike Bailey and Zachary Wentz versus the Good Hands. I have to say, they make a great tag team, Mike Bailey and Zachary Wentz. They did defeat the Good Hands, and, you know, Bailey handed the X Division title at the end. So what are your thoughts on Zachary Wentz's promo and then the tag team match?
More just quickly on the Good Hands, I think we can clock it right now. It's September 5th at 2024. The Good Hands are better than the Good Brothers at this point. I'm willing to say I'm more entertained by the Good Hands than the Good Brothers. And yeah, even though they lost, like you said, Hodge and Skyler are just so underrated. I think it's pretty safe to say they will be champions at one point, just because even though they lose more often than they're winning now, it's still they're always being put out there to look good. They definitely have plans for them.
Definitely. I hope they get a short run with the tag titles, even if it's just they win at let's say Bound for Glory and then hold it on till literally the next TV special, you know?
And even though you alluded to them sharing the X Division title, even though I wouldn't want to see it ripped like that, if they want to rip the belt like Cool did with the WWE Women's title, I'm fine with that. You know, they could each carry a piece of it.
That'd be an interesting for sure.
Yeah.
We get a Rosemary vignette. It's very interesting because she's in a cage and you can hear voices. Again, I wonder if this ties in with possibly Wendy Chu coming to TNA.
Yeah, that's what it would seem. You know what I mean? That's seems to be their characters seem to be aligning.
So next we get a Steph Delander segment. And we find out that Matt Cardona made her sign a contract that basically says that he owns her. He says that he found her in Australia, plucked her from obscurity, and basically taking credit for all of her success. And SCL basically says she got herself noticed and worked really hard. And Matt Cardona hides behind SCL when PCO comes out, and then he throws SCL into PCO. So definitely it's an interesting segment. I didn't know that was legal. He actually had a contract that she signed.
His name was all in his font. It looked very fake, but this was funny. And I believe I saw earlier that Steph Delander signed with TNA through the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good as well.
Same. So I wonder, this is obviously leading to PCO versus Matt Cardona. I think they can stretch it and probably make it happen at Bound for Glory. Well, it hasn't been announced for Victory Road, and Victory Road is next week.
Yeah, and...
Oh, interesting. I suspect Steph versus Matt at Victory Road. Ooh, okay.
And you're a gentleman. Okay. Yeah, just so to get rid of the... Okay, yeah, because... I remember seeing something like Matt Cardona is trying to go to one of the big two. I believe, you know what I mean. I think he wants to go back to WWE, but so I could see him putting Steph Delander over. Well, it makes sense, you know what I mean, especially to get rid of the contract. So I could see that.
whatchamacallit, then we get the Hardy Boys promo, and the Hardys basically talking about how they're former tag team champions, and they mention all the companies that they're former tag team champions. They're talking about facing the system, but then that we're going to submit to the greatness in the Hardy Boys.
So it looks like, yeah, I think we're obviously also gearing towards them getting a tag team title run, obviously. So, yeah.
I could see that. At least before they go back to WWE, if they go back.
Yes, that's the
We get Jake Something versus Eric Young. This was a good match. I was a little surprised that Eric Young won, but then the ending made sense because Jake Something finally turned heel and attacked Eric Young, hitting him into the void. Jake Something's heel turn comes as to no surprise. It's been building over the last couple weeks. Actually, you could say over the last year, because ever since Jake Something came back, he really hasn't done anything. He's just been kind of there. Yeah, he's won matches, but he hasn't won a title. So, he teased it. He first season when he attacked Cody Deaner, and yeah, I'm not surprised by this at all.
He lived up to his name and did something, and it was something. This was big. Finally, he turned heel. Got about goddamn time. So, and I also like, again, because he mentioned it, I like the little partnership of, or just having each other's back of Macklin and Eric Young. So,
are we getting a tag team here? Eric Young and Macklin? I hope not. I
don't know, because again, I damn you, because that's so I don't want, like, obviously Cody Deaner to turn heel, and then because I don't want him anywhere near Jake. No, I don't want to see a tag team.
Io says Jake finally snapped. He did. I kind of thought Dino was going to be the one to snap because, like I said, the people keep getting Cody Deaner in odd situations.
They do.
Yeah, they do. So it's kind of like, that's why I thought he was going to, like, snap. Give me one second. Okay. So we get a Joe Henry interview, and he basically brings up the fact that everything is becoming an occurrence, that every time he gets close to the title, it gets taken away. But we can't deny his momentum, and the place to be is TNA, and he has a world title to chase. So I definitely do think at some point Joe Henry will be TNA world champion. May not happen at Bound for Glory, may happen at Hard to Kill, but I definitely do think he will be TNA world champion. There's so many top contenders. It's just so hard to pinpoint who's after Nick Nemeth.
I don't think he's going to, because I don't think he's going to be in TNA. Again, I don't know his contract status or how long he signed with TNA or how long he's going to be with TNA or like this current deal. But I don't think he's going to be a team with TNA the long haul. I think he's firmly on WWE's radar. And also, and we're going to talk about it later, I would rather see Josh as champion. Josh is so money as a heel right now. I would rather see him as champion than Joe. And again, I think that's what it comes down to. I think that because he's so over, I think TNA is going to show patience with putting the world title on him. It's not like if they, it wouldn't be forever till it happened. But I just think that he could be gone by then, depending on how long he signed for.
I think his contract expires October of next year. See, Io says Henry still contracted to 2025. Yeah.
Then yeah, like obviously that's just like the window I look at, because I don't see him being the one to beat Nemeth. I somehow see Josh getting another match somehow and being the one to win, whether that's winning Bound for Glory or something along those lines. So yeah, that would be dope just to pay off Joe beating Josh just because he did screw him. But again, who knows if that happens?
Mm-hmm.
I think Josh is the champion.
I think he will. A heel Josh as world champion would be fantastic. All right, so after this, we get the Heather Reckless injury, which we already talked about at the beginning. So we're just going to go ahead and skip over to the Joe Henry promo, which He planned with Santana to cheap shot Moose and JDC here, and Josh Alexander was on commentary for this match.
Yeah, there was so much good shit. Like, first, because all I could do was listen to commentary. Josh made a point to point out how Tom didn't call him the standard this week. And Matt's like, yeah, didn't you coin that phrase? Basically throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
It's not obviously being a good heel commentator, signing with the heel. And then Tom doubled down and said, I used to be able to call you the Iron Man. I can't call you that anymore. And then you could just tell Josh was getting pissed. Like, he's like, oh, yeah? And, like, there was just so many, like, good little, like, jabs and commentary. This was so good.
It was. I like Josh Alexander on commentary, but Josh Alexander, once again, like, he low blow Joe Henry and then send him into the ring post. You know, JDC better be kissing the ground that Josh Alexander walks on, because if it wasn't for Josh Alexander, who's to say Moose and JDC don't win this match? And JDC wouldn't have been a part of the system, because remember, the condition was JDC had to help win the tag match for him to be a part of the system.
Again, and I do like how they're following through with, you know, the system reboot, the idea of not I don't think they're going to be anywhere close to their peak, but they're not breaking them up. You know, they added a member. You know what I mean? They're still winning matches. You know, they're a focal point of the show. So, yeah, this was good shit.
Definitely. So at the end, we had Nick Nemeth watching on his phone, and he's basically telling Moose that he's finally gonna beat him, because he hasn't been able to beat Moose since he came to TNA. And he says Moose will never be able to take out the Wanted Man. Io saying Bro's finally on the team. Yeah, JDC is finally a part of the system. So overall, I thought this was a fantastic show. What did you think of Nick Nemeth's little promo at the end, and your thoughts on the overall show?
Yeah, no, I like this. I wish, well, at least Tom and Matt talked about, if I'm remembering right, Tom said after Emergence, he tried to find JBL, because he's known him a while, to find out what's going on. He had already left. They basically talked about how he does what he wants. And I was hoping maybe JBL would have showed up in this segment. He didn't. I was very interested in that, but I also like how this show, Moose and Nemeth both cut promos on each other, because there's a short turnaround at Victory Road. We only have one show next week and then Victory Road. So this is very good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm interested in the match. And again, it was already inevitable this match would happen, because they made the situation where Moose didn't have to get pinned for his title. Nemeth didn't beat him. So this is good. Like, again, anybody who wasn't happy with this match, then I don't think that they watched Emergence, because they knew Moose didn't win, and they knew Nemeth did. So it was obvious.
And we also find out that Josh Alexander versus Joe Henry has been made official for Victory Road. I feel like this is going to be the first of maybe 2 or 3 matches, probably 2 matches. I think they're definitely going to have a bigger match at Bound for Glory.
To be one of the best, like, plus specials of the year. Those 2 matches are already, like, to me, enough to sell a card.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, honestly, I feel like this has been the best Fallout show that we've had. So I was really excited. It was a solid show overall.
That's so interesting to get a Fallout show followed by a go home show.
Right?
You know, like, that's very interesting. You know what I mean? So, like, basically the last 4, you know, installments of TNA, whatever, you know, pay-per-view, 2 episodes pay-per-view, you know, a lot of stuff has happened in that small amount of time. And the way they just set everything up and keep interest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you wouldn't think they would be able to. This show could top Emergence, which was a very good card.
Yeah, it was. All right, Bert, as we get ready to wrap up, where can people find you?
Just on X at Burmac11.
You can follow me on Twitter at @Datila_. Talk all things wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays on my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling. And then also for all things TNA, you can check us here every Thursday as Burt and I talk about TNA. All right. So thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live and whenever Body Slam goes live. And we'll see you guys next week for the Go Home Show to Victory Road. Bye.
Bye.